All right, well, we've been talking a lot lately about our focus on group purchasing, and also in tandem with that, a focus on endpoint security has been a big concern in higher education lately. And Mike, I know that you've been working a lot with the independent colleges and universities of Texas and creating a strategic relationship with Cylance, who we've recently partnered up with. Can you tell us a little bit about who ICUT is?
Yeah, so ICUT is the Independent Colleges and Universities of Texas, and their primary focus is with the 42 independent colleges and universities around advocacy for policy research and collaboration amongst their 42 institutions.
Excellent. So I know we've been working with many associations to roll out programs with Cylance and ways to help the schools leverage their buying power. Can you talk a little bit about sort of the process and how we engaged ICUT with Cylance and are starting to really put these things in motion?
Yeah, so there was an ask from the institutions to find a strategic partner around next generation endpoint security. And it just happened that Cylance has been a great solution, probably top of mind in many of the institutions' cases. So what we did is worked with Cylance and with ICUT on the concept of a group purchasing arrangement. So after we all came in agreement, what we wanted to do was have Cylance come out and present in person. So we had an on-site meeting and we tacked on Cylance to present to the group. Just to get feedback, right? Because we wanted institutions to buy into the process and make sure it's a solution that they're interested in. So post on-site meeting, we did some webinars to review really the same thing for schools that were unable to attend. And following that webinar, we sent out a survey to gauge interest with each of the institutions. And then from there, we gathered the data, worked with ICUT, worked with Cylance, and formed this strategic partnership.
Awesome. And what makes Cylance so special? What's this whole trend of next generation endpoint solutions that kind of separates itself from some of the other players in the market?
Yeah, so the traditional antivirus solutions have a signature-based solution. So the feedback that I get from many of the institutions is it's challenging, right? So they've got to manage these signature updates. It's more of a manual process. The differentiator in Cylance is it's signatureless. So schools that have to manage that, they're no longer doing it. It's all based on machine learning and artificial intelligence. So it's learning at machine speed. It's much more hands-off for the institutions. It's really plug and play.
That's awesome. And a lot of schools have trouble when they're trying to roll out a new solution like this, right? It can be taxing for smaller IT departments. Oftentimes a lot of knowledge transfer needs to be involved. Cylance kind of builds that into the equation, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about Threat Zero that they kind of bundle with their licensing and how that helps schools get comfortable with putting that solution in place with best practices? Yeah,
you're absolutely right. So all the schools that we've worked with, the challenge in replacing a solution is daunting, right? So Threat Zero is included in this engagement. And as part of it, there's a few areas that they're going to focus on. One is removing the solution. So what will happen is they'll put it into a monitor mode. So Cylance is running through and monitoring alongside your current solution just to see what's going on. So it's going to gather data, and then at some point we're going to flip the switch, right? So we're going to move it from monitor to protect. So now you've got Cylance running the solution and doing everything in place. So they're going to help stand that up, remove the current solution. They'll help whitelist, blacklist applications. They're going to remove anything malicious that's happened within your environment so that once this initial engagement is done, you're going to be at a state of zero threat. So there's nothing that's happening. And then from there, we'll do quarterly health checks. So Cylance's team will work with your team at the institution to run through, to fine-tune any of the applications, fine-tune the console, and then do training. So I think that's invaluable because that's sometimes the biggest challenge for campuses is getting from a point to removing a solution to getting up and running, where this solution or engagement goes above and beyond that.
Yeah, and I think that's super exciting. Like you said, it's very important when you're making an investment in a solution like this that things go smoothly, that you're comfortable with the new environment, that your team can manage it moving forward. I know Cylance has ways to help with that along the way as well, and the quarterly health checks is just not something that I see with a lot of other manufacturers out there. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Mike. I mean, we're really excited about this. I know ICUT is really excited about it and looking to do more unique initiatives like this with associations across the country.